All right, so here's what you all submitted to me. Let's just do a quick look at what you all did. So participants, there were about, so you need to get the about part. So I'm recording this right now. You can, whoop, let me resume my share. Come on now. Why is it not letting me? Okay, let's try this again. All righty. Should be a little better now. You guys can see the screen? All right. So what do I see that I like? Immediately I look at it, I'm like, okay, you guys have your APA. You have your APA style generally down. I can see 1.5 inch margins. I can see double spacing here. Okay, the participants about 30. So we want to make sure that you get your correct number now that you have that, right? So make sure you get your numbers in there. There were about, so get rid of all the abouts and get in the correct numbers. Age range, okay. And so you just did age and gender. So please go back and take a look at the example of the method section I put up. For participants, you'll see there's reference that to voluntary, all participants were volunteers and they gave permission to participate in the study. So that's what you can do to improve the method section here. The materials section, again, okay, so while the general APA format is good, I think you need to note the materials are a list, then a description of the materials you used. It's like on the brownie box where it says butter, egg, salt, right? Or whatever. They're each individually listed, and then there's a description of those. One place that has to, yeah, okay. And as I'm looking at this, you've got procedure in your materials, right? Materials are just a list. Procedure is what you do, and it includes how you use the materials. So you've got some of that mixed up. You're telling me here what you did here. Tell me about your survey. How many items, the nature of the kinds of items that were used. There were 5 items that were taken from like the Rosenberg self-esteem scale or whatever in order to capture that. So give me details about your survey. You may just have one, like the use of Google Forms as a software that could potentially be a material, but you should also be giving me a good deal of detail of the survey, and then put Appendix A, and there should be a copy of your survey at the end. So like, if you look at, like, this is part of somebody's submission from another group, right? Here's their appendix, right? That's not APA. They need to get that their fonts the same here and here, but Appendix A, you got to include that. So yeah, get your materials right. Make sure that you don't have procedure in your materials section. For the procedures, we created a survey. Okay, give me a little bit more detail about how you did the division into high and low authoritarian parent. Like, how did we make that decision, right? So Hunter, Jacara, remember the litmus test for this is you ought to be able to give this to one of your friends, and they ought to be able to do exactly what you did without having to go back and ask you questions. If somebody has to ask you questions about it, it's not clear enough. Now, what's missing here? The appendix, the references were not included in your submission, so your updated references need to be included, which would include like Robinson and the Rosenberg self-esteem scale as well. Okay, does that make sense? I
So
mean,
you
I
want
think
the
that
appendix like at the end?
that's what an appendix means at the end. It's
Oh,
the appendices means it's something attached to the end.
okay.
Okay. Um, other than that, I mean, I think this is in pretty good shape. You just need to clean it up. And then once you've cleaned it up and you've come to an agreement, as you can work on this together, you know, grab it, put it into your paper, move on.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. So hopefully I see a really nice updated reference page from you guys when you're submitting your introduction section, which is an individual assignment.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stop my share here and I'm going to stop my recording.